Robert Kennedy is comfortable in his matrix, where people as a rule and as a group and as a commonwealth and as a mass don't have the slightest idea what is going on. In the early 80s, 1980, 1981, 1982, I studied at Temple University in Philadelphia. This was before relations with the executive branch turned unbelievably badly. I took a class with Russell Weasley, for example, attended it, audited it, whatever you want to call it, on the American way of war. And one of the students came in demanding to be the loudmouth of the class. And he was doing like this here and doing like that there and carrying on about how the Russians have more oil than us and more land and all this stuff. He was like a dog that needs to be behind a fence. But he was at large and he was just yammering and it was just nobody could get him to register any form of comprehensible question. He just went on and on and on and on. And that sets up in drama school the sleight of hand, the illusion that America and Russia, East and West, South and North, are all at loggerheads. When behind the scenes, they're slapping five at the leapfrog oligarch barbershop and establishing parameters for lesser men to struggle for recognition and medals and so on. Now, at some point, Iran-Contra happened, and if you don't know what that is, here you can take this to the bank. Gorbanafar was the dude's name. He met with Oliver North for Reagan and Israeli Zionists, and they sold Exocet missiles to Iran. Marines were being blown up in Lebanon to raise money for mining harbors against the poor in Nicaragua who Roberto Clemente died trying to help. This was called Iran-Contra. It was a all fundamentalist, ain't we, routine from the Zionists and the Christian extremists and the Ayatollah. And while that was going on, Michael Foucault, the decadent philosopher, was laughing up his sleeve because he was in the logger jam. He was going off to shuttle diplomacy with the Ayatollah. So some weird stuff went down. Yeah, weird stuff. Well, the gobblers at the University of Pittsburgh, of course, opened your eyes to what was going down because people in Britain, the men around Thorles, and Penis Gabriel flies off to Moscow in this 1980s scene. And the intellectuals of Pitt are all hobnobbing, doing like this here with the Zionists of Soviet Jewry. Making secret agreement with Gorbachev and Putin. And Andropov and Bush are slapping five at the leapfrog oligarch barbershop. And I get a letter from Walker Percy out of the blue sky down in Covington before he passed away. He said, "Beware the delectations of despair." And I said, "Ma," because she was an English teacher, I had to ask her when Amanda Harcourt said me something about the treason of the season of truculent machines. What's truculent mean, Ma? She said, spoiling for one. So Walkie Percy writes me, "Beware the delectations of despair." And I'm like, "Ma, what is it, damn?" What's delectations? He says, I don't think that's a word, but it's something like delectable, right? Licky chops. Yes, beware the licky chops of despair. So UW Dialectical has this licky chop delectation going, yaha. They're going to have a porno junkie who feels guilty about Gaza and will blend them in the computer. Gee, that's higher. This comes from the Zonk Talabol, Esau Shimus of Ringo Starr, the progenitor of the whole phenomenon of Michael Foucault's ruinous psychology in our campuses.